Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Brakta Yahweh, Brakta Yahushai, Ko Aloyim, La Alahayina, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Recha HaKodash. Double honors to our elders and apostles, great millstone who do teach and rule well. And through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, told us this 100% truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the house of David, the hopeful elect. You Akim out there pushing his word in truth and sincerity. To those of you likened unto the speckled birds scattered to the four corners and speaking in different tongues, unto you we say Shalom. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 24, starting at verse 17. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. But pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. All right. And, of course, we understand that this is also in reference specifically to 70 AD. All right. As you see in the 16th verse, then let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. All right. But Judea, all right, referencing, obviously we know that Israel is a people before a place, so you can kind of liken that unto the children of Israel today, all right, because we are entering into the time period, all right, that is ultimately going to be great tribulation, all right, and this devil is about to come down with great wrath, all right, he's already been doing it, all right, but we have only seen a few measures of that great wrath, if you will, okay? It hasn't reached its boiling point, if you will, all right? And, as you see here, the New York Police Department acts as a creepy robot surveillance dog after AOC condemned its deployment in low-income communities of color, and de Blasio celebrates it being put down, all right? And ultimately, this particular surveillance dog, all right, was basically given to the New York Police Department with, by way of a contract from Boston Dynamics. Now, Boston Dynamics has been working with DARPA. They have been working with, other government agencies and basically advancing their technology. All right, because really that's, part of that measure of Esau being wiser than Daniel, his technology. All right, the things that he's been able to do on this side. All right, with, his artificial intelligence. You've got the Neuralink. You've got different measures of this technology in many different forms that, we could discuss at length about, but most of you are all familiar with. All right. And nonetheless, they deployed this, all right, to be used in communities of color, or basically you Israelites. All right. Because as I brought out in a few previous lessons, these other nations aren't as a whole in the same condition that we are, all right? We are predominantly the ones in these low-income communities, all right? So let's just get a few points of this article real quick. John Miller, the Deputy Commissioner for Intelligence and Counterterrorism, said the New York Police Department had canceled its contract with Boston Dynamics, right? And, when you see, these references to intelligence and counterterrorism, you have to realize that police departments are becoming more militarized, all right? And this is also an example of not only the militarization, of the police force. All right, but ultimately going to show you, all right, as I did in a previous lesson, how the FBI and other government agencies have been reaching out to state, local, and federal levels to basically watch out for, quote, black identity extremism. Okay. And, really that's just targeting the men of the Lord. But again, you have another example here where it's showing you, once again, that its deployment is for, use against you Israelites. All right. Miller defended the artificial canine from critics like progressive Congressman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who called it a robotic surveillance ground drone. The Congresswoman in February had said the robot dog was being deployed for testing on low-income communities of color. Miller said the robot was never a piece of surveillance equipment. All right, but nonetheless, we know, obviously Esau says, it's not this, when in reality it is. All right, if Esau says it's 100, it probably means it's 10,000. You always have to go with the exact opposite, of what Esau tells you. All right, understand that he is the forger of lies. All right, there's nothing but deceit and mischief in his tongue, and ultimately, you can liken that to his mind, his heart, and his mind. All right. Nonetheless, John Miller, the New York Police Department's Deputy Commissioner for Intelligence and Counterterrorism, told the New York Daily News on Wednesday that the New York Police Department had canceled its $94,000 contract with Boston Dynamics. Miller on Wednesday defended the metal canine known as DigiDog from claims from critics like the Congresswoman. Right, let's continue on. Now robotic surveillance ground drones are being deployed for testing on low-income communities of color with under-resourced schools. She added, please ask yourself, when was the last time you saw next-generation world-class technology for education, healthcare, housing consistently prioritized for underserved communities like this? All right, and never. All right, because we understand, pursuant to the book of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, the curses, all right, that the children of Israel are under. All right, so we are not going to see no next generation world-class technology for education. All right, but what we are going to see, all right, entering into the time period of Jacob's trouble, is more of Esau's devices. All right, those devices on ultimately him desiring to kill you. All right, him wanting to take you out. All right, and matter of fact, real quick, just in a blue letter. All right, I'm just gonna get it. All right, because when you go into this word, when you go into the word wrath, all right, in Revelations, all right, that great wrath, it literally means to kill. All right, from the root word, all right, to sacrifice, to immolate, to slay, kill, or slaughter. All right, so again, even the original word thymos, passion, angry, heat, anger. All right, soon subsiding again, inflaming. All right, but again, if you look at the root word, all right, from G2380, which is thyo, it literally means to sacrifice, to slay, to kill, to slaughter. All right, and what did Esau say, man, the days of my father are at hand, and when I slay my brother Jacob. All right. So nonetheless, you're seeing more examples, all right, of this devil, and that's that wrath. All right. That wrath is him desiring to slay you. All right. That wrath is using, this technology. All right. And, don't be surprised if this technology, this particular, whatever the hell they call this thing, damn DigiDog. But of course they have a, I'm sure a different name for it, technologically speaking. But, this thing probably has thermal sensors on it, so that way it can see behind walls and pick up heat signatures, and basically be able to collect that data. All right, and send back, so that way, when these devils go to raid your house, they'll know exactly how many people are in there, man. Because Esau doesn't really know, all right, how, like, to the measure of how much we have increased. He doesn't really know how many, Jakes be in one household, man, until he finds out, and normally that happens after he raids somebody's house and somebody is shot down that was so-called innocent, and then they get off scot-free because guess what? The man or the young man or whatever the case is was, either selling drugs or, had guns in there, so it doesn't matter. You get caught in the judgment. All right, and that makes sense as well because, if you look back at accounts, specifically the book of Joshua, the 7th chapter, the nation, our nation as a whole, got punished, because of the fact that he hid those things in his dwelling place, man. So it's the same thing. You're not exempt from it just because somebody else did it. Nah, we're being punished as a nation because of our wickedness, in different ways, shapes and forms, whether at one point in time we did it and then you was being righteous and vice versa, which, again, obviously we know that the same righteous spirits, all right, that were in the, days of old are here once again, all right, and the same, wicked spirits, all right, are the same ones that are out here again, man. All right. Let me just get a few more pieces of this. All right. Again, they try to say it was never a piece of surveillance equipment. All right. And that doesn't make any sense. All right. And they try to basically use, it was loud when it walked. It had a camera for a head, flashing lights, and a speaker, and a police officer could use to communicate if needed. It wasn't exactly going to be shadowing anyone down the street or hiding in a doorway on surveillance. And you see how they use it. Oh, well, real surveillance is quiet and behind doors. Well, no, like I said, man, this thing could have, thermal sensors. It could, pick up heat signatures behind, past walls. That's a form of surveillance, man. Let's just, real quick for edification's sake. All right. Oversight, supervision, a watch. All right. So they know exactly what they're doing. All right. And ultimately, from Sir being over, watch. All right. So overwatch. All right. And that's what they do, man. All right, Esau overly is watching. All right, and this was another measure. It doesn't matter if the so-called surveillance is loud. All right, we didn't say, because they were basically trying to say this was that, oh, you're trying to make it out for spying and blah blah. You know how Esau does. All right, but again, you can see, past the lies in his mouth. All right, because what are all these cameras and what technology, all right, is in that camera? You never know. All right, you can spend a few $100s and get a camera, only about 3 inches by 3 inches, and that's used to take so-called pictures of outer space. So imagine this big old piece of equipment, how much technology is in it, to be able to see past, all right, and, ultimately pick up any kind of information, all right. And, another thing, which wouldn't be surprising is that they have artificial intelligence software infused into this. So that way, if they see somebody, if they pick up somebody's facial recognition that has a warrant, they have their exact location and they ping it right back to the New York Police Department. All right. So again, man, these devils aren't crafty, man. And again, they're just showing you just one of, pieces of technology that they have, and Miller claimed, what did he say? Miller called the claims of surveillance misinformed and accused them of damaging public trust. Well, really, there is no public trust, all right? We see with all the calls for police reformation and, you goddamn devils have already destroyed so-called public trust, All right. And really, public trust is, they're referring to so-called white people. All right. Because the children of Israel have never had no so-called trust with these police. All right. Which, when you go into the history of police, it goes back to slave patrol. Okay. So they're just keeping the slaves in order, man. And they are still patrolling the slaves today. All right. And hence why, all right, the title of this article, all right, was that this was to be deployed for testing on low-income communities of color. All right. So in closing, man, let me just go ahead and get that scripture since I already have it up. All right. Again, showing that, Esau really desires, all right, to kill you, to slaughter you. All right. That is that great wrath. All right. And that is why scripture says, all right, that 2/3, all right, people shall die, man. All right. Even in Amos, it says all the sinners of my people, all right, of the Lord's people are going to die, man. All right. Revelation 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. And, why does it say rejoice? Ye heavens and ye that dwell in them? Well, because of that last part, man. Because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. All right. And we understand that not only do we groan, but creation itself groans as well, man. All right. And just in closing, let me get it real quick. Matter of fact, I can actually go back real quick. I can grab that Amos 5 verse. All right, Amos 5:18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light. And that's, all you so-called Christians. All right. Especially the Northern Kingdom that's very heavy in Catholicism and, Caesarea Borgia worship. All right. They desire the day of the Lord, but to what end is it for you, man? Verse 19, as if a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand on the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark and no brightness in it, right, man? It's not going to be no brightness for you people, man. All right. And in closing, all right, again, just through the Spirit, seeing this article, all right, and again, seeing the fact that, the wicked man, Esau, Edom, that's the Lord's sword, man. All right. Amos 9:10. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. All right. Verse 11, in that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. And that's why we say, all right, give our salutations, all right, to you hopeful elect brothers out there, all right, who are ultimately making your calling and election sure to be of the rising up of that house of David, which is waxing stronger and stronger today in these last days. All right. Verse 12, that they may possess the remnant of Edom and of all the heathen which are called by my name, saith the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, that doeth this. All right. And that's the point, man. These devils are crafty. These police departments are receiving contracts, to have more of Esau's killing machines out there. All right. And, again, this is just an example along with his artificial intelligence, his drones. All right. So much technology that this devil has at his disposal. All right. And it's going to be seen, it's going to be used in the very near future. In an all-out war, if you will, all right, against the children of Israel, man. All right, so Lord willing, you was edified. And in closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachach, Horash. Double honors to our elders and apostles of Great Millstone who do teach and rule well, and through the Spirit and power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai told us this 100% truth. Peace, love, and salutations to the house of David, the hopeful elect. You Akim out there pushing his word in truth and sincerity. To those of you likened unto the speckled bird, scattered to the four corners, and speaking in different tongues, unto you, and until next time we say Shalom.